What's up guys, Omni here. You guys know how it goes, another day, another video. Last night I tweeted I sleep. What recent news, topics, tweets, videos y'all want me to talk about tomorrow? Yeah guys, today is Monday, October 30th, one day before the spooky day, Halloween itself, and we're moving into November. We have a lot of news to talk about, okay? Some good news, some bad news, and some really weird news, okay? So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to start off with some of the not so good news, okay? Kind of just put that out there, stuff you really need to know so that we can end on a much better, happier note this episode. So in terms of bad news, we'll start off with this one, okay? A lot of you guys have probably already heard the news. Andy said Matthew Perry, star of the hit TV series Friends, passed away recently at the age of 54. This was on October 28th over the weekend and just came out of the blue. One of those things where you're just sitting there minding your business and then all of a sudden you see a name pop up on Twitter, you see it's trending and you're like, oh my God, you're telling me that Matthew Perry passed away? What happened? Many sources are saying that the cause of death was drowning within his own home. I believe he was in a pool or jacuzzi where he was then at one point he lost his life. I don't know if it was intentional or if it was accidental, but that's what happened to Matthew Perry. His passing being a pretty huge deal given the fact that, yeah, man, dude was still really young and is one of the most recognizable people on the earth. The episode Friends is something that's watched internationally from a lot of places all around the world. So again, yeah, rest in peace to the gang, Matthew Perry guys, and yeah, that's kind of it. Also, in pretty horrible and sad news, a lot of you guys probably know, but there's been a lot of shootings that have been happening within the past 3 to 4 days that we're going to talk about. One of them being the Lewiston shootings that happened on October 25th. For those of you guys who don't know, a gunman killed 18 people and injured 13 others during a shooting spree at 2 locations in Lewiston, Maine. One of the wild parts about this is that the police were actually not able to find the gunman. It became a manhunt that lasted for 2 days where they could not find him until they basically ran into his body on October 27th, where he was pronounced dead because he killed himself. 2 days later, after they discovered the body of the gunman, another shooting happened. And this one was a Tampa shooting that happened during a Halloween celebration, where it says during a Halloween celebration and has left at least 18 people injured and 2 individuals deceased. Those numbers may have been increased since the last time we've looked at it here. Pretty terrifying. You have all these people running, you hear people screaming, you hear glasses falling, and this guy's streaming, trying to, one of those things too as well, like your first response is to run, but you don't realize what's actually happening at the same time. You don't know if it's just sound effects or if it was gunshots or whatnot, but yeah. There's another clip that I can't quite show you guys that shows the actual moment of the shooting happened. It looked like it was a gunfight between 2 people. Someone in black pulled out a gun and started shooting, which then started out a whole gunfight. What's even wilder is that MoistCritikal, aka Charlie, our boy, was actually there when the shooting happened. He actually made a video talking about the Florida shooting, said talking about a serious topic. And if you guys know MoistCritikal, aka Charlie, man's never really talks about these kinds of things, serious issues, and usually just jokes around. He's a goofy boy all in all, but yeah, he decided to talk about this specifically because I'm assuming, well, I've already watched the video, but yeah, he was there when it occurred.
This is one of those very rare, serious videos I make about a situation that I feel is just very important to cover. Last night in Ybor, which is a place that's close to where we live here in Tampa, there was a shooting that left 2 dead and 16 to 18, the reports are varying, injured. It started as an altercation between people that escalated into guns being drawn and fired, and 16 to 18 people were caught in the crossfire.
Jeez.
It wasn't a planned mass shooting. It was a fight that turned into a mass shooting, basically.
So that's even terrifying in itself, to think that a fight broke out that affected 18 people, 2 dead, and it wasn't even one person out here trying to target 18 people, and yet 18 people became casualties.
And unfortunately, myself and my friends were actually there last night when it happened. Like most people in Tampa, we went down to Ybor to party for Halloween. The shooting happened around 3 a.m. and most of us were still out at that time. Half of us were still in a club, like myself. Some of us had just started going home, and then one of our friends, Peyton, was actually walking on 7th Avenue, which is where the shooting took place. She said she was only a couple blocks away and actually saw the shooting happen. She then called Caleb, who was with me at the club, and he could hear the gunshots in the background as she was trying to warn us to stay inside and not go out under any circumstances. It's a horrifying nightmare. She mentioned she also saw some of the bodies, and I can't even imagine what she must be feeling about the situation that unfolded in front of her.
So yeah, terrifying, right? Imagine hearing gunshots, somebody calls your phone and tells you to stay indoors. One of those things where it's like, I can't believe this is actually happening. It's actually happening to me. Do I need to go inside? Is the gunman going to come in here? The fact that you actually have to think about these things because this is what's happening so often is just a terrifying thought. Like, it doesn't ever impact you until it does.
Most of you know I have quite a few irrational fears, like flying. But one fear I have that I don't think is irrational or weird, and probably plenty of you who are also American have a fear of, is mass shootings. It doesn't seem like they're that uncommon anymore. So to have one actually happen where we were is indescribably terrible. And my heart absolutely breaks for anyone that was involved in the situation. It's unimaginable. But anyway, I'd like to state the obvious real quick, that it genuinely feels unsafe leaving the house. Every time you walk out the front door, it feels like you're taking an extreme risk in a dangerous environment. Even just going somewhere to have fun with your friends can instantly turn into the worst night of your life that changes everything forever, because two strangers just randomly start shooting each other over nothing and catching innocent people in the crossfire. One thing that I think is also important if you're not familiar with Ybor is every single night in Ybor, well, at least on the weekends when I've been, they have like at least 50 officers roaming the streets with their patrol cars. Some of them are even on horseback as well. And still, this happened. Even with all of that, this shooting happened in front of like 50 officers being there.
Yeah, when I looked at the footage, when we saw it, or there was another footage that I didn't show you guys, but there was actually police officers everywhere when this shooting still happened. So you think to yourself, man, yeah, you're fine, you're safe, and then because there's cops around, so you can finally go outside and, you know, not have to worry about dying. And then yet here it is, you're still in an incident where you can get hit into the crossfires. I think the end all be all, like when it comes to this topic, and Charlie articulated it very well, is that it's kind of scary to go out. One of the things that I do is that I don't like to be around large crowds, period, especially where I can't move. It's when I go to places where there's large crowds, where it comes to malls or movie theaters or events, I'm always looking for the nearest exit. I'm always kind of just looking around, being much more alert and aware of my surroundings, because I feel like that at any point in time, something can go down. When everyone's out and having fun, in the back of my head, I'm thinking like, yes, if something starts right now, I gotta go that way. And it feels like, you know, if I'm Charlie or if I'm most people, like I think I might just be safer staying indoors, or instead of going out for big Halloween events that you would love to do, it would feel much better to maybe have a private event somewhere indoors, maybe your own place or somewhere you know that other people can't get to, because this is an unnecessary risk that people have to face, which is just dying because they're trying to enjoy themselves with a lot of people. So yeah, guys, those are the shootings that have been happening over the past week. This is not even Halloween yet. Like, Halloween is actually tomorrow, and I feel like that's going to be another time and event for these kind of tragedies to keep occurring. So my final note on all of this is, guys, please stay safe and do as much as possible to watch back. Okay, I'm not telling you to hole up inside of a room in a house and just don't go anywhere. That's kind of what I would do. It's kind of like how I feel. I don't think I would execute on it, but just be extra careful, because these streets aren't safe, man. Just keep your eyes open and you know, be proactive as much as possible. Okay, go out there, experience life, but just also have exits strategies in mind if you can do so. And again, to all the victims that are out there, I'm terribly sorry that this happened to them and their families. My heart goes out to them. And for those of you guys who are out there, I hope you guys stay safe as well going forward into the future. All right, guys, so this is the turning point, okay? We got through some of the rough news, some of the stuff that you guys probably definitely needed to know, and then it's not good news, but I think now this will be the turning point where we can kind of go in and lean in and start feeling a little bit better. Some of the good news that happened around the world, or some of the stuff that's just not as bad. Now, as Andre said, the end of JiDion, but the start of his new journey. Now, this is not like absolutely like terrible news, especially in comparison to what we've been talking to, but apparently the YouTuber JiDion, you probably know him from the Pokimane incident. He got banned on Twitch, and there was an incident between him and Pokimane, basically beefing until they eventually squashed the beef, but he never got his Twitch back. He's also been in a lot of controversies when it comes to basketball games and getting haircuts, or getting banned from stadiums for doing wild things. He's a goofball, he's a clown, and everybody loves him for it, but apparently he's saying goodbye, and that he's not actually going to be doing this type of content anymore. And instead, he's going to basically create a new channel where he's going to talk about following God and being a Christian and trying to get people to read the Bible. It sounds like a shtick to me. If I know JiDion, based on what I've been seeing in the pattern, this is just something that's temporary that he's doing. But a lot of people feel like this is the actual real deal. So yeah, let's take a quick look at this video for just a bit. Some of the parts where he explains what he's going to do.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I never thought I would be posting a video like this on my main channel, but here we are, man. Here we are. Let's do this. Let's do this. As a lot of you know, I posted a video on my second channel called Giving My Life Back to Christ. And in that video, I was giving you guys my testimony about how I was wanting to stop being lukewarm and just truly give my life over to Christ. And not only did it send shockwaves to the Christian community, but it sent shockwaves through just the entire internet, man. You know, I've been off of social media, but, you know, I have seen some clips and stuff, and like just seeing the reaction that it's had in such a positive light, like, man, it's just a blessing. You know, God is good. God is good, especially knowing me. You know, whenever I'm in the news, it's usually for, you know, something crazy. But I think me being in the news for something like this is just one of the best things ever, man. And I'm just so blessed that God can use my testimony to touch so many of you guys.
So it sounds authentic, right? Like, like in the back of my mind, I'm thinking cap. I'm thinking this is JiDion. He's a clown, so it's hard to take him seriously. Or if he's trying to say something, it feels like he's saying something else. Or if he says he's going to the right, then it feels like he's going to go to the left. That's kind of just what I've got. I'm not saying he's the boy who cries wolf, but it's kind of hard to take it face value until you actually see it start happening. He's actually already started uploading a video in his second channel that he's referring to as well. But yeah, he's saying that he wants to follow his Christian faith and he wants to go forward with that, and he wants to go kind of end on that, which seems like this is going to be either the end or a temporary end to his main channel.
Anybody's having a struggle like this where you're putting the world against God's love, man, really look at it. And I'm telling you, the pros and cons list, the cons of leaving the world is gonna outweigh the pros of being with God, but having everlasting life will always outweigh anything the world has to offer. And I promise you, when you really pray and hearken on it, it's not a hard decision.
So it's a clip like this one right here that makes me feel like it sounds authentic as hell. And if the fact is that, yeah, if JiDion is of Christian belief, there's no way that he would actually come up here and joke about this kind of thing. At least that's how I feel. I'm somebody who's had a Christian background as well. I don't know where I kind of am right now on that spectrum, but I understand and hear what he's saying. I know some of the Bible verses that he speaks as well. So I inside just watching this, I'm like, nah, this is no cap. This is JiDion saying goodbye and actually pursuing what he feels is like his purpose in life, which is bringing people closer to Christ. I know you guys have been looking, by the way. If you've noticed the accessories in today's video, all of it is provided by Kern, who is also today's sponsor. Kern is a company that creates high quality accessories by using natural products from the earth, including grain, marbling, wood, stone, mother of pearl, and more. I've literally gotten so many compliments on the watch, the ring, the bracelet. Let me show you guys these things up close. First of all, when you receive the products, they come in this really gorgeous box. And man, oh my God, guys, this bad boy right here, ooh, chef's kiss. It's called the Kickstart. It's a watch made using grounded coffee beans and a very unique marble. And the one I'm wearing right now is known as the Tanumir, based off the Tanumir crater located in the Western Sahara Desert. It's made from koa wood, stainless steel, and has automatic movement technology, allowing the clock to power itself using gravity. They make one of the best gifts, in my opinion, that you can give to a friend, a family member, or even a loved one. So yeah, guys, what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below and use code OMNI15 to get 15% off your order. You'll be supporting the channel, the planet, and acquiring some really good drip all at once. Free shipping to USA and most EU countries within 2 to 4 days, a 24-month warranty, and a 24-day right of return. And again, special thanks to Kern for sponsoring today's video. Now this one I'm actually kind of very interested in learning more about. Keoteki said the TikTok food critic Keith Lee versus Atlanta. I've been hearing about it. I don't know the details. We'll discover it together. But if you guys don't know, there's a guy by the name of Keith Lee. I think he was an ex-MMA fighter, and now he does TikToks where he rates foods, and he's done so successfully that he's actually collaborated with MrBeast. He's the guy that kind of just sits there and looks at you monotonously and says, yes, I give this food a 1 out of 10, tastes like garbage doo-doo butter. From the context from what I already knew about the situation, without going into details, but Keith Lee has basically been traveling now, going to different cities, a lot of the most popular cities of some of the best food places, and yes, going there and rating their foods. And if you go there and Keith Lee says your place is hot, then people go, you know, it's you pop it. But if Keith Lee comes to your joint and says, yeah, nah, 1 out of 10 garbage doo-doo butter, that's it. He just eviscerated your entire restaurant. Like nobody it's like he just goes there and he condemns you, and you get good reviews and people come, or it's bad. It's bad. Like that man has a lot of power over the industry. But apparently he's recently gone to Atlanta, and apparently a lot of his food reviews in there is not so good. I'll show you a few clips.
Yesterday, me and my family were at the One Music Festival. Somebody who works with Candy Birds walked up to us and said they've been trying to reach us since we got to Atlanta. He said he'd been constantly emailing me and constantly DMing me for me to come to Old Lady Gang. I got it. Let's try it and rate it 1 through 10. As you can see, I don't have any bags in my hands. Me and my family showed up and we attempted to order before we got here. We called the number they had connected on Yelp 3 times, no answer. We tried to order through DoorDash and it said it was temporarily closed. So when we pulled up, I sent my family in to order for us. They said on the weekends, due to being busy, they don't do any takeout at all.
They do to-go orders?
No, we don't do to-go on the weekends.
Oh, okay, so send-in dining.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sweetie. We appreciate you.
Which is completely understandable. So what we decided to do is my family's gonna go eat. They're gonna come bring the food out while I'm sitting in the car, so they have no idea I'm here. My family asked how long the wait was to be seated. They said an hour to an hour and a half.
Okay, so this man has to be incognito, right? Because if you're Keith Lee, right, and you come into a restaurant and someone says, hey, oh, snap, that's Keith Lee. Guys, attention, okay? No more... Give him the best hors d'oeuvres, the best food whatsoever. No, he has to come in and people have to not know that he actually showed up so that he can actually have a fair taste challenge, you know, to judge it all. So right now his family's going in to get the food, and then the family's going to come out and bring some of the food back for him to taste. However that works.
Okay.
She also said they didn't have any reservations available, so they didn't take down any number, any contact information, nothing. My family then came and relayed that message to me, and I decided to go in myself. We walked in and we were greeted by a nice young lady. And then I met some amazing people who were eating there, and we took some pictures. God is amazing. As soon as me and my wife were done taking pictures, the lady said the table was ready. As always, I don't want any special treatment. I want to be treated like everybody else. I pay for my food like everybody.
Cap, nah, you got the special treatment, dog. They said Keith Lee here. Table right here. Didn't have the table ready for his family, but then had the table ready for Keith Lee. They made an exception. So already to a bad start. The food hasn't even come out yet, and it's already to kind of a rough start.
I'm a normal person. I'm a normal customer. Things like this is exactly why I do reviews the way I do. Just because I have a certain amount of followers on social media don't make me different from nobody. My mom, my mom-in-law, my sister, they all paying customers just like me. So I want them to be treated just like me. So I asked how long the wait time has been today. She said an hour to an hour and a half. Okay. So which I then asked, how were you able to sit me in 5 minutes? This is her response.
How long are we looking for as far as wait?
I'm gonna get set up like 5 minutes. On the wait, this all call came. Now it's whoever first come first serve.
Again, my family just attempted to eat there less than 2 minutes ago. I then told her I changed my mind. We're gonna go eat somewhere else, and I said, God bless you.
They didn't pass the vibe check. Keith Lee didn't even get a chance to taste the food at your restaurant. You got stopped at the front because you tried to play favoritism. You rejected his family and told them they had to wait an hour and 30 minutes. And then, hey, Keith Lee, I'm here. Yeah, how long is the wait time? And you could have just said, yeah, unfortunately, the wait time is an hour and 30 minutes right now. I'm sorry. We're just really busy. You know, then Keith Lee would have been like, fine. Hey, understandable. Okay. Have a blessed day. We'll come back in an hour and a half. But that got the 5 minute one, got the favoritism. And they thought like, yeah, we're going to set Keith Lee down. We're going to make an exception for him. And he was like, nope, you didn't treat me as good as my family. Therefore, we're dipping.
I walked out.
On second thought, it's okay. We're going to go to eat somewhere else. So I appreciate it though. For sure. Thank you. God bless. Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
Have a good one.
Have a great day.
Oh, they salty
I'm
though.
gonna be very transparent and honest. I am frustrated.
Yeah.
Me and my family just trying to eat food. That's all we try to do. At the same time, while I am frustrated, I understand we are all humans. I do not agree. I do not support. I do not condone shaming this business based on my experience.
Okay.
Like every city we've been to since we've been on food tour, I go to an array of restaurants. From mom and pop shops to staples of the community to super popular to places nobody know about. And Atlanta has definitely been a unique experience for me and something I'll never forget. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, genuinely. But I'm a normal person and I want to be treated like everybody else. God bless you. Have an amazing day. Y'all be safe.
He's Keith Lee I can see why this guy is like so successful, because he has every opportunity to kind of like, you know, throw some shade, you know. express, I want to say feelings that normal people would feel in the situation that could hurt other people. But he sees his responsibility. He knows how much power he has, and he's very careful with how he speaks and what he says because he doesn't want to create any unnecessary harm or hate towards any people. I can see why I'm glad that somebody like this is in the position that he's in. But yeah, after Keith Lee murked Old Lady Gang's restaurant for their service and everything, he ain't do nothing. He just they did it to themselves, and then he just kind of recorded the process. There was another company called Milk and Honey where he did a review and the service was just not good. I'm not going to show you to it because it was kind of long, right? But there was a response. Milk and Honey responded to Keith Lee's video with this clip right here, making their situation go from bad to worse.
Did you see this Keith Lee video about the real Milk and Honey?
And who is this Keith Lee?
Daddy, you don't know Keith Lee?
Yeah.
No. When it comes to marketing and making your business look good, this is exactly what you don't do, right? You could have been humble because Keith Lee's a pretty humble dude as well. Responded with his energy, with your own energy, been like, hey, you know what? That wasn't right. And let me make it up or let me do something better. Whatever it is, you can still recoup and recover. But my man just went doubled in and everyone's been trashing and dragging Milk and Honey since. It doesn't look good for the future of this business when this is what you do. When you respond to Keith Lee, then people feel like that they're not going to get the proper service as a normal person. All right, guys, we got to talk about this because everyone's asking me to talk about this. And it seems like when I did talk about this initially, part one of the whole Rosanna Pansino going on this tirade about how she got cheated out of a hide and seek game from 2 years ago on a MrBeast video where she was supposed to get 3rd place, but MrBeast edited in a way where she got 4th place and Logan Paul instead got top 3. This entire fiasco occurred, and it seems like in my last video a lot of you guys felt like, well, some of you agreed. I would actually say it's like 50-50, where some of you are like, hey, good take, Omni, but I kept getting a bunch of bad take Omni, bad take Omnis. I'm disappointed in you, Omni. Now, before we get into all of that, let me talk to you one-on-one for just 15-20 seconds, okay? Can we do that? You are allowed to not agree with my take. That's totally fine, okay? That's completely fair. I don't always make takes here on this channel that you will agree with. And my purpose here is not to be agreeable, okay? I'm not here to make a take so that you can agree, so that we can create a hive mind, so that I just tell you what you want to hear, okay? That's not going to happen. I'm not going to bash any of you when it comes to anything. You live your life, and when it comes to content and your opinions, I'm not here to say, well, your opinion is trash and therefore you're trash. But when that's the energy that's kind of diverting back to me, I don't know. Channel here is to talk about things respectfully and then agree to disagree respectfully, okay? So if that's the energy that you want to have, that's fine. That's not the energy I'm going to return with. Anyway, I'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's go over to Rosanna Pansino's apology, okay? If you guys don't know, it was 48 hours of Rosanna coming out and trying to cancel MrBeast using a bunch of tweets that have now since been deleted, where she basically talks about her and her woman's survival story. The tweets, if you did not get to see them, and maybe I'll find them as well, was painted in a way where she was a severe victim of sexism. And she's coming out here and speaking her voice to tell her terrible story about the tragic thing that happened to her. Apparently, this incident that happened over 2 years ago created mental anguish for her. And this entire escapade was her basically trying to speak her truth. In the middle of speaking her truth, she also dropped a music video that did not perform very well, as well as other kinds of types of content where she made fun of the clout people were calling for her. She was making fun of the concept of actual women's issues as well. So she was kind of making fun of the haters, but also kind of weaponizing the concept of being a victim of sexism as well and portraying it in the same way. It was weird, right? Because if Rosanna Pansino was somebody that got wronged in a way, and I think that most women actually get wronged on a serious occasion, those were how the tweets came off. It was very freaking intense for a situation where it seems like she got edited out of a hide and seek video challenge 2 years ago, okay? The correlation there was kind of sus, and a lot of people, women included, communicated that that was a very weird way to continue to present this information. Anyway, her apology says, I would like to apologize to MrBeast. I should have expressed my feelings privately and handled things directly. I will be removing all of the posts where I talk about the creator games and Jimmy. I will be honest in that the thousands of death threats I've received today are a contributing factor, but I do also sincerely hear the feedback from so many of you. Now, if this is the first tweet that you have seen since the last couple of tweets I showed in my last video, I want you to know that the in between this, let's see if I can find some of it. So from the last video, here was some of the updates. I'm not going to go over every single tweet, but basically Rosanna Pansino got reached out by MrBeast, and MrBeast tried to contact her privately to say, hey, let's talk over the phone with what's going on if he wants to. Rosanna then responded and said, if he can say it to me on the phone, he can say it in writing. When I asked him to send over the raw footage to review the timeline, he went radio silent. MrBeast kept pressing me to get on the phone and refused to answer any of my questions in writing. With Jimmy saying, hey, what's your phone number? I love to call and see if we can figure out what happened, ! In which she said, hey Jimmy, my intention of speaking up is not to be malicious or create drama, okay? I was really hurt by the editing decisions you made. Editing me out of the top 3 and making me look like I performed worse than I did felt awful. Quackity was also edited out of the top 3 and he also talked about it. I have stayed silent for so long, it's causing me mental stress and anguish. It's not mentally healthy for me to have someone make me look worse than I am to millions of people. I would never do that to a fellow creator. Now, let me communicate this to you guys, okay? I think what maybe needs to happen here is empathy. Okay, because when I first look at this situation, to me, it's goofy. To me, a hide and seek video where you go from 3rd place to 4th place and get it edited out is not enough to create mental anguish at this degree where you can't sit down and have a conversation with a person who's not even your boss or employer. No weird power dynamic. It's just MrBeast, another person that you make videos with, okay? When I hear this information, it doesn't feel so strong that somehow now MrBeast needs to talk to the internet and broadcast his editing props or anything like that. That's not what it feels like for me based on, well, I would say, my initial point of view. But a lot of you guys were expressing disappointment because maybe I didn't look at it from her point of view enough. And I did communicate in the video that I felt sorry for her. Her hurt is her hurt, and if that's what she feels, that's how she feels. However, she says here in this tweet, and this was early on before the whole thing started going kind of wild, my intention of speaking up is not to be malicious or create drama. And yet, after MrBeast tried to reach out to her, in which we'll read the rest of the tweets, she then proceeded to continue making tweets over and over and over that looked like she was doing a Me Too movement almost about the fact that she was a victim of MrBeast's misogynistic behavior. This was the picture that she was painting for the entire media to receive. Whether it was true or not is one thing, but there was no verification of it. It was just her saying that she is a victim of sexism. And I didn't like that because as a feminist, right, there are a lot of women who are victims of misogyny and sexism, and it's 1,000, 10,000% real. This, however, given the fact that Quackity, who is a guy who also suffered the same exact fate as her, for you to come in to approach it as if it's not happening to both men and women makes it feel authentic, like she was leaning in on trying to hurt her and weaponize her point against MrBeast that he was also, unfair to women. If she had omitted that and just quite literally said, hey, MrBeast, you didn't make me feel good from the top 3. You edited me out, and I feel like you lie, and I feel like your videos aren't authentic. That's the point. That's it. I can sit with that. I can agree with that, right? Because everyone felt like MrBeast, Jimmy, aka his videos, are authentic. They're real. It's one of the things he talks about. So that's literally all she had to say. But she kept leaning in on the fact that she was a woman when that wasn't a point that needed to be made. And it started really making her argument crumble a bit. And then as she continued to try to push and weaponize the woman agenda for her, it started to look more and more and more like she was kind of doing this for clout. There were a lot of responses from people who were supportive of Rosanna initially, and then they just kept saying like, okay, babe, you're doing too much. Okay, homie, you're going too far. Okay, I was on your side, but now you're dropping music videos. Okay, now you're making fun and taking pictures of you drinking pina coladas. Okay, and it started getting to a point where her supporters initially from the beginning, they started to lose faith in what she was initially saying. Anyway, going back to the actual response from Jimmy here. Why did you lie? She said, why did you say in the video that you found Logan literally 1 minute before Zach? I outlasted Logan and was proud of what I accomplished. It actually built some confidence in myself that wasn't there before. He said, I don't know, it's been a while. Let's call and figure it out. To be completely frank and obviously, if I heard that, I don't know, been a while, let's call and figure it out. And I was hurt. I was like, okay, I would be frustrated. But also on the other side, it has been 2 years. MrBeast makes millions, not millions, but he makes hundreds of thousands of videos within the 2 year span over multiple channels. If somebody came to me and asked for raw footage of a video that I made 2 years ago, I'm not going to have it. Me, at least, it's not going to be on deck. I've left that behind. I've gone on to greater and bigger things. So that's not something that I could just procure. Maybe he could. But I feel like most people would not be able to do such a request, which was asking for the raw footage, which she's not actually even entitled into having. Anyway, she said, I'll give you some time to look into it and remember, and then we can discuss. I'm more than happy to review all the raw footage to help show the timeline of events. Feel free to send it over to my team. Let me know. She has a team, apparently. So after the text exchange where she says she'll wait, for MrBeast to come up, to do anything, right? She said she'll wait, but she didn't. She kept posting over and over and over again. And people who were on her side, even this person right here, said, I was with Rosanna Pansino at first about the MrBeast thing because I do think it's unfair. But then she started saying stuff like this and it got weird. Like, girl, experiences about what? Question mark, getting edited out of the video, question mark, crying emoji. One of the pictures here saying, thank you for making me feel not alone. This has been overwhelming and a lot of process today. I was scared to tell my story for a long time because of how much hate others have gotten in the past for speaking up about their own experiences. I agree with that. When women do come out and speak about their experiences, they get way too much unneeded hate. That's another thing I want to communicate to you guys too as well. It's like, I'm very freaking aware of the misogynistic culture that is around YouTube and gaming space and just the world in general, okay? As a woman on this planet, you get hate for just existing. I know that. As a black person, as a minority, I understand the concept of being hated for just existing, okay? However, not every person that has criticism of these kind of situations is misogynistic or is racist, okay? There are people who are even like me, feminist, who supports women greatly, who can see that this is a situation that's a little bit sus, how she continues to feel like she's squeezing something out of this situation. The next one reading, the amount of DMs I'm receiving from people with similar stories. Please know that you are not alone. You are seen and your experiences are valid. Okay, so if these are similar stories where Jimmy edited you out a video where afterwards a bunch of people confirmed, both guys too as well, that yeah, they got edited out the video. It's not the experiences that they're sharing are not as bad as it seems. Okay, the experience that she is trying to share is that she deserved third place in the video over the fourth place. That's literally it. It's not as bad as it actually looks when you read these tweets. She kept going and kept tweeting saying, hey, everyone, just updated my bio. Check it out and tell me what you think. And when she put top 3 hide and seek world champion, trained for years with my little nephews, right? And it was just tweets like this over and over that kind of just felt like she was belittling what is a very important Me Too women's movement here. Okay, when she's talking about being a part of the Me Too movement, but her example is this, it doesn't feel right. It feels like we're talking about two separate things because women go through some tragic situations. This is not tragic. It's unfortunate. It's kind of annoying and it sucks, but it's not on par with what's actually occurring in the world right now. Anyway, the general consensus and thought that I seem to be seeing here from all sides, from all facets on Twitter, okay, with me not being, biased at all, okay, is that yes, a lot of people were here and on side of Rosanna Pansino's side initially, okay, and that MrBeast lying about his videos and it not being authentic is an actual thing, right? Like some people are kind of chalking it up to like it's editing, which I knew, right? If someone told me that MrBeast videos are not real or artificial, I'd be like, well, duh, yeah, of course. This is not a surprise to me, again, that is smokes and mirrors. But a lot of people really want to focus on the concept that MrBeast is lying about his content, which is actually a separate issue from Rosanna in general, okay? If you guys want MrBeast to answer for his crimes for making content that's a bit authentic, that's fine. I have nothing to say about that. You have every right to criticize him, okay? That's completely cool. And Rosanna Pansino being a victim of that is something that's allowed to continue to go. But I feel like if there are people here that are not kind of raising an eyebrow at Rosanna Pansino's follow-up actions from this entire thing, it was very clear that she wanted to destroy MrBeast's reputation, okay? This wasn't a call out and MrBeast, hey, can you just kind of correct it? This is how. It was an agenda. She started off making content with podcasts, okay? With Trisha Paytas, one of the biggest T-type women there is out there, and freaking Ethan Klein. That's where she came out to speak about it in public, okay? She also didn't want to talk about it in private because she felt like she was obligated to. If MrBeast continue the text messages, then she would have continued to post it on the timeline, right? Like, for some reason, like, she felt like this was something that's had to be an open conversation. To me, it's very clear that Rosanna Pansino wanted MrBeast to answer for his actions. And even when she said that she was going to give him time to kind of look into it, she didn't. And she just kept trying to push and cancel Jimmy. That's it. She did. She tried to cancel Jimmy as hard as she can. It didn't work. It was fine in the beginning, and she left it off, would have been okay, but then it just kept turning into this like very weird, why are you still posting? Why are you making this Rosanna, why are you doing this? This what it turned into, to the point where she basically backed off. Anyway, that's the Rosanna Pansino situation in a nutshell, okay? You guys can let me know how you guys feel. For Rosanna Pansino, for the death threats that she's been receiving and the hurt that she felt from being edited out the video, I feel very bad for her. I feel sad for her that this is something that occurred because of her wanting to speak out. Genuinely, I feel that. I also genuinely feel that Rosanna Pansino did not handle this well. In fact, I think she handled it horribly, okay? I think that the fact that she was using women's survivals and the Me Too movement to kind of push her agenda was inauthentic. I also feel like the fact that she was still doing things like dropping music videos on her main channel during this exact same time and 48-hour timeline, if you're in the middle of a Me Too movement, okay, and something tragic happened to you, okay, you're not going to sit here and drop a music video the next day. You just won't. You won't, because it's important for you to get answers, right? This is something where you kind of pause and stop. But she was like, nah. Anyway, today's Women's Issues is brought to you in part by my music video. So I don't feel good about how she handled it. And I do think that I'll be very honest with you guys, I think she was being dramatic about the situation, and she was pushing too hard on the fact that she was a woman. She could have just stopped and said that I feel hurt because I got edited out and it feels like MrBeast lied and made inauthentic content. She stopped there. We're on board. We're on the same page. We'll all agree. But yeah, that's my opinion. You guys can let me know how you feel. God dang it, man. Another L for this black community for us at Team Fry. Co-director Gracie said, your racist arc is about to be extended. If you guys don't know, there was a Splat Fest this weekend, Halloween, and you had to choose what would make a better friend. The Ghost, who was sponsored by Big Man, Skeleton, and that's sponsored by our girl Team Fry, and I think the other one's Zombie, sponsored by Team Shiver, okay? The halftime results that came out on Saturday, and it showed that Team Fry, our squad, we finally had a lead for the first time, and it feels like 1 billion years in this game. Team Fry had a lead. However, the results came out in the end, and as you guys can see from the screenshot to the right, we, Team Fry, lost again. Now, interestingly enough, the biggest surprise on this is not Team Fry losing, because that's not a surprise at all. It's the fact that Shiver got 0 points. Which never happens, because Shiver is the fan favorite. There's no way that she ends up dead last, let alone being dead last and having no points. Big Man winning, it doesn't hurt my heart as much, because I am a fan of Big Man. I do love me some Big Man, and I got no hate towards Shiver as well. But I feel like the neglect of Fry over these past Splatfest it's still not as good as it seems. Let me show you. Lewis told me Fry lost again and had the less votes, but look at these jumpers and tell me we didn't fight with the same anger you have. Okay, if you guys don't know, everyone's Team Fry is on my side, okay? We're all angry. We're all racist, okay? We're all mad. We're trying to give Fry the respect she deserves, okay? Which would be your best friend? Now, if you look at these stats, right? The biggest one you need to look here is the number of votes of people voting for Team Fry right here in the middle. She still lost by a major percentage. She only got 17%, where Shiver had 19 and Big Man was the clear favorite for 63%. So that means that 17% of the population of the people in Splatoon were fighting for her to win. They compete and they try to get these conch shells and they try to win these points. And as you can see, even though we had 17%, those 17% of those people out of the 100% of people, they got the best open and pro results. Okay, so a small group of people was just out there just wiping people. The quality was most important, not the quantity. So yes, to answer your questions, no, the racist Omni arc has not ended. It will only end. I will only stop being racist once Fry gets the win that she deserves, okay? And on one hand, again, like I just said, she got second. We beat Shiver. that's, you know, but on the other hand, you know, she still got the least amount of votes. And the only reason why we got second place is because a very small group of people was out there just taking W's over and over again. Okay, it's still not a good look for us, and we're still out here getting perpetrated. So yes, until my girl wins outright, 100% stacked, I'm going to continue to stay racist. The racist arc for Omni does not end. All right, guys, that's all I have for today's video. There's more I wanted to talk about, but just not enough time. Okay, my arm is... it sucks. It's bad. You can't tell, right? I'm hiding the pain, but crazy amount of pain all the time. I'll figure out how to fix it hopefully sooner or later, but I got to go edit this video. So I'm going to stop it right here and then hopefully drop another video for you on Halloween or Wednesday or whatever. I just want to talk to you guys more often. I feel glad that I can continue doing this. The injury wasn't so bad that I couldn't stop making content. So I'm going to try to take advantage of the fact that this is something I can continue doing despite the horrible accident. Okay, do me a favor. Again, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel if you like the content, and I will catch you guys in a little bit. All right, I love you guys. Okay, despite all the drama and the issues here, I love you guys, and I'm glad that we can both agree and disagree on many topics, but at the same time we still respect each other and love each other at the end of the day. Okay, all right, catch you later. Peace.